oldest daughter is autistic, and she had been coming to NewPromise with my mom for several weeks, and it was for the first time for a season that she had not had panic attacks for many hours on the weekends, and so kind of seemed mysterious to us, and so we decided to visit NewPromise. And in the year prior to this, she had been to multiple doctors. My son had had multiple surgeries, my daughter had had head injuries, and I was having neurological issues, so we had been to, I think, like 40 doctors in a 6-month time period to handle all of those issues. In that time, I had also gotten into a car accident and broke a bone in my hand in half, and so I had had surgery, and I also injured my ankle. Well, there was so much attention that went to my surgery for my hand that the ankle kind of got overlooked, and so almost a year later I was dealing with unbearable pain, was having difficult driving and walking and sleeping. I mean, it just was 24/7. And so the very first Sunday that I visited NewPromise, at the end of the service, Pastor Kurt said, the Lord told me that somebody's having pain in their right ankle, and it was like my whole body just filled up with fire, and instantly my ankle was healed, and it was amazing. The pain was gone, but it was so much more than that, that the Lord was kind of telling me that, you know, I am the ultimate great physician, and I had kind of, in the midst of all the doctors that we had to go to for other ailments, didn't even bother to ask him for healing. And so it was very, very powerful moment for me. And 3 weeks later, my husband ended up leaving me. And so now I'm a single mom with 3 kids, and I just felt like God used that healing to plant me into this church for this season of my life. The presence of God is so powerful in this place, and I would not have survived what's going on in my life without that gift. And the people of NewPromise have loved me and my kids so well and welcomed us so much during this time that it's truly been a source of life and comfort for us.
He and Rhonda took us into their family at NewPromise and changed our lives. We were looking for something, but didn't know what. But Kurt and Rhonda brought us into this lovely, lovely place called NewPromise, and they changed our lives. His Holy Spirit has come upon us from what we've learned at this church. We can't say enough about this church.
We came to NewPromise a few years ago, and our marriage was in complete disarray. We were on the verge of divorce. My body was broken. I had crippling back issues. I had a thyroid issue and many other things I was taking prescription medication for. And Jesus in the Bible, he says, he summarizes everything with love God and love others. And if I were to describe NewPromise, it would be that right there. They love God like no other, and they loved us like no other. And through that love, everything was healed. Our marriage was healed. My body was healed. I don't take any prescription medication anymore, and we're definitely not on the verge of divorce. And so I have to just say thank you to NewPromise for the many years that we've had here, and things just keep getting better.
I have been saved. I was living in darkness, total darkness. I was doing drugs. I was drinking a 1.5 of vodka a day. I was smoking cigarettes, and I had smoked since I was 13. So that's 47 years. And I decided one day that I was going to kill myself. Make a long story short, obviously I didn't, because I found God. I was sitting in my storage and asking God for help. And the next thing I knew, somebody was coming out from Soldiers of the Cross, picked me up. We prayed all that night. I woke up the next morning and I had been delivered from drugs and alcohol and cigarettes, and everything was gone. The Holy Spirit was just filling this church, and for 8 months now I have been looking for a church, and this church is my family.